Thank you all for coming. Please be seated. A man who understands the struggles and hopes of urban America.
With the Pentagon looking into the Halliburton contract, are you concerned that that gives some fuel to your critics that the contract was inappropriate in the first place?
I appreciate the Pentagon looking out after the taxpayers' money. They felt like there was an overcharge issue. They put the issue right out there on the table for everybody to see, and they're doing good work. We're going to watch. We're going to make sure that as we spend the money in Iraq, that it's spent well, it's spent wisely, and their investigation will lay the facts out for everybody to see. And if there's an overcharge, like we think there is, we expect that money to be repaid. Homeownership is a source of stability for our communities and a source of dignity. Israel must be mindful that the decisions they make today will make it difficult must be mindful that they don't make decisions that make it hard to create a Palestinian state. It's in Israel's interest there be a Palestinian state. It's in the poor, suffering Palestinian people's interest there be a Palestinian state. The Arab world has got responsibilities to see that this vision be implemented. And I wish Mel and Kitty all the very best. You might remember I took that policy to Aqaba, Jordan. I stood up in front of the world and said, this man, Abu Mazen, that came to the Oval Office, said, I'm willing to join you, Mr. President, to help fight off terror. Because he understood that terror was what was preventing progress from being made. He said, I'm willing to work to put the institutions in place for a Palestinian state. And as we began to make progress, he got shoved aside. And that's why we're stalled where we are today. It's time for Palestinian leadership to emerge that believes in peace and believes in the aspirations of the Palestinian peopleism in America's cities. Jim Baker is a man of high integrity. He's a man of enormous experience. And it makes sense for him to serve our country on an important mission. And that mission is to encourage countries to forgive debts so the Iraqi people can more easily grow a nation that is prosperous and peaceful. And Jim Baker, we're fortunate to have Jim Baker agree to serve our country. The members of your family who are here. Alfonso is a friend. My answer to that question about the dollar is that this government is for a strong dollar, and that the dollar's value ought to be set by the market and by the conditions inherent in our respective economies. And our economy is very strong and is getting stronger.